We are recording.
This is Lowballing,
La,
and
la, la,
welcome.
la. Okay. Good.
Oh, we're not on yet?
We're good. We're good. We're live. I mean, not live. We're recording.
And here we are, finally, right? We're here. This is Lowballing with Joe and Alan, where we talk to authors and people who deal with authors on a regular day for either business or pleasure. So tonight we have a special show tonight because we don't have any authors on other than Alan and myself. We have two voice actors. So I'm going to skip the usual intro where I mention everybody's books because, you know, some of these guys I couldn't even mention how many books they've worked on because it's the numbers are pretty incredible, but they're very active in the business. They know the business inside and out, and they've spent a lot of time at it. So I think that we'll all have a lot to learn from them. First is Andrew Wherlen. He has worked on a couple of novels for me, mainly in the Five Roads to Texas series. Mm-hmm. And with him tonight is Neal Arango. He has also done a couple novels for me in my Gone to Dog series and Cataclysm he's working on right now. And I've got about 4 or 5 lined up for him in the series of Gone to Dog, but that'll come in time. So welcome, gentlemen. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
My first question is for both of you: is this your sole employment? I mean, I do know for one of you if it is or not, but is this your sole job, or what do you do in your non-creative time, Andrew?
So no, this is not my sole job, and I wish it was. But in my non-creative time, I work for a local municipality here in Virginia.
Good for you. Good for you. And Neal, are you just doing voices these days, or? He's
job, and also wish it was, but this is I also sales, selling furniture actually, and I also have 3 kids, including one. So I would say that takes up the bulk of my time. Reading audiobooks is definitely something that's kind of had to take a little bit of a step down, but I'm still being active as I can right now.
Yeah, if you can make a little money at it, I can see why you would. You know, I don't. You seem to be a very involved father, taking your kids to hockey games and things like that. And one thing I'll tell you, I know for a fact, is the gentleman next to you, Andrew, is he's one for the record books when it comes to fathers. He's got a son who is in the Junior Olympics, I believe, for marksmanship.
Yeah, we'll be up in Michigan. He shoots for Ohio State. He just finished his freshman year, and we'll be up at his 3rd invite, but his 2nd appearance because COVID killed the first one. So his 2nd appearance at the Junior Olympics up there in Hillsdale College in Michigan in May.
That's awesome.
Small bar
and then he has a daughter that tears it up on the lacrosse field. She truly. Some of the clips you posted, she looks like a beast out there.
Yes, but she chose not to do the college thing with lacrosse. She'll do club. She's going to go to Virginia Tech, so she's going to do club lacrosse. She doesn't want to be in, like he is, because it's a job. At all those, it's a lot of work. So what she wants, so she'll want to have fun, just go to school, have fun, and do club lacrosse. So I get that. It's a lot of work. It's a job. I see what my son goes through.
Well, it's kind of a brutal sport, isn't it?
Not for the girls like it is for the boys. It is, but the boys, the men can do a lot different. There's a lot more contact in men's lacrosse than there's in girls.
Okay.
Women's lacrosse in college, but it's not so much the physicality of the sports. It is just the schedule. They do a lot of practice, and my son's at the range for 3 to 5 hours a day, Monday through Friday during the season, which is most of the year. So but he loves it, but it's a job. All those athletes, any college athlete, the D1 down to D3, especially D1s, but it is a job to do that sport with college. So it's a lot of work. And my daughter saw that and just wasn't really interested in going too far away. She had offers, One for her. So
Yeah. Well, I think it's phenomenal how you are with them, and I think Neal's probably going to be a lot the same way that you are. He seems very active in his children's life. So I want to ask you guys, you know, a lot of people who have written books and are just thinking, you know, I've met them. They're on the sidelines and they're going, geez, should I put my book into Audible? You know, these guys are charging 175, 225 bucks an hour. You know, is it really worth it? So I want you to kind of justify that hourly wage. Now, me personally, I think it's worth it. You know, I've never had a problem paying it. But I think both of you know that I've never had a problem paying what you ask for the work because I have a good idea of what's involved with it and the voices you have to learn. But per hour, you know, say you're getting 175, and I know that's not either one of your rates, but say you're getting 175 bucks an hour of recorded finished time. How many hours do you put in, or how much time do you put in each hour? Now, I know when you first started out, it was probably quite a bit of time, correct?
yep.
Like how much, when you first started out, Andrew, how many hours would you spend on like 1 hour? Just at a guess.
Yeah, probably 4 or 5. Figuring out,
Yeah.
you know, watching YouTube videos, learning everything. But that was 10 years ago. But you're right. Yeah, when you start out, it's a lot of effort to figure out how to do it right,
Yeah.
and you're probably not doing it right anyway.
Same for you, Neal. It takes quite a bit. How long have you been
That's
doing
about where I started out. Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Well, I started off back in 2014.
Okay.
Took kind of a 2-year break in between, and maybe like 4 years ago, I kind of jumped back into it again, and I've been kind of going full steam since then.
But when you first started out, 4 or 5.
Yeah,
You know,
about 4 or 5 hours. Yep,
You
that
know,
sounds
that
about
comes
right.
down to some hours were 15 bucks an hour and some
Yeah.
hours were 25, but still that's not an outrageous wage. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's what they don't understand. People see that, oh, $175 an hour, and it's like that's outrageous. And it's like they don't understand how much work is put into the production behind that. Plus,
Right.
people who have never hired a voice actor before, you should know that once you turn it over to them, you're pretty much done with it other than the approval process. You know, I mean, you guys put it up and deal with Audible or Amazon, and I mean, it's like you're hiring a professional. And I think you guys both take great pride in your work. Now, you've been doing it 10 years, you've been doing it 8 years, probably 6 years after taking time off. How much time do you spend in an hour?
Probably 2 to 1.
2 to 1?
Yeah.
But that's experience earned.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why. That's 10 years of tears and effort. Yeah.
That's effort. That's a skill that's been honed. And that's, you know, and I don't know who's going to watch this show, but I want people to get educated about what you have to do to publish your own book and to be your own writer and to be your own boss. And I'm telling you, it takes investment. Now, if you get somebody, if either of you gentlemen were to get someone that really worked at needled you to get your price down, I'm sure you're at the point now where you would just say, screw it, we'll just go find someone else. But there was a time where you probably made the sacrifice and took the low ball, as we say in lowballing.
Yeah. Got a lot of royalties for books. I mean, I love them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what's funny is when I first started, I had no idea. Like when I landed my first royalty share book, I was like, yeah, I made it. All right. I didn't know. And then the book went for sale and like never sold a single copy. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's volume. The first author I ever worked with was a chick named, she still does, right? She's fairly prolific. Her name is Jacqueline Druga, and you might have heard her. She's based
I heard her.
Yeah, Jacqueline, she's the woman who opened the door for me, so I always owe her that. and that's my first book ever was a book called Then Came War, which was a fun book. And it was just, like a World War III type of book. And that book started, and from that book on, there's almost been very few times where I haven't had, a book in production at some point. That was like the one that opened all the doors for me, slowly but surely. But I did that royalty book because it was my first one, and I don't want to think about listening to it now because I know. Your first couple of years, like, oh my God, I don't want to hear that. But that was a long time ago, and it was important to have those. And she had faith in me, and I've done a bunch of books for her, and I would still do books for her for zero. Because
really?
I would, yeah. There's certain people I'll do books for nothing just because I'll roll the dice on the royalties. I looked at my numbers. We have these goals. Because ACX was the big platform, still is. And I look at it now every once in a while, but I don't have time because luckily I've moved into where with Tantor especially, they just keep me rolling with books. And it's ironic, it's not under my name, it's under the romance pseudonym. That's the guy who gets all the business now. It's like I found my niche, right? It's not me, it's the other guy, which sucks because I can't show my face. And at some point I'm going to come out, but I'm thinking when I retire, I'll come out and say, this is actually me. And I may not, I don't know.
Does your wife ever say, do the voice, Andy? Do the voice.
She hates sometimes I say, look at this line from this book. Listen to this line here. He had her by the ass and he grabbed it. Oh my God! And
I've had a few of those.
Yeah, right. I'm getting $200+ an hour for this. So she's like, yeah, I guess that's okay. She loves it when I do the gay ones. Those are even better.
Yeah, those you can't even act out. Because his wife is a woman. I met her.
Well, you can.
But very, very nice woman, actually. Very nice.
Yes.
I've had, I mean, I wish I would have kept all my outtakes. Because there's times I'll read something and then immediately after I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just read.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is there anything you've ever read that you're like, oh, I can't believe I'm reading this?
You know what?
Not anymore for Andrew.
No,
that would be
there's nothing I
play back, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's edit that out, please.
For sure. No, I have my line, but there's not books that really cross that line. So, the bigger publishers they're not going to publish weird, wacky, weird.
Oh yeah, shit. Especially it's there's a lot of.
Right.
Now, as an author, when I'm reading my own work, it never strikes me emotionally because I'm clinical about it, and I'm reading the scene and I'm building the scene. But when it gets into the hands of the right audible actor or voice actor, there are a couple of books of my own that it'll get to a part, and I will actually tear up at that part, even though I wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that never happens when I'm reading. So there's a certain magic that comes when a story is being read to you, and I think the truly good voice actors know that and are aware of that, and I believe you two both know that. What do you feel about having a story read to you? When you're listening to something, or don't you listen to other actors?
Good news.
It depends. There's a lot of audiobooks out there. So for me personally, so when I'm reading an audiobook, I put a lot of emotion into my performances. And there's a lot of audiobooks that are really well done audiobooks that, where the narrator doesn't particularly put a lot of emotion. And sometimes I could separate that and, and I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. And I'm really paying attention. It really has my focus. Even though, the narrator, you would think it's being read at a pretty standard level, manner. But, for me personally, like I like to really insert my own emotion into the text, into the script, and I want people to feel like when they're listening to my audiobook, I want them to like really feel it, So there's a lot of times because this is how I got into audiobooks too. Is I've always been an actor. It's like always been my dream to be an actor because I just really like performing, and and one of the things I'm also an avid reader, and I used to, when I was alone, I'd read text and I'd read out loud and like act out the dialogue sometimes. So I'm like, man, I really wish there was a way I could get paid for this. And I'm like, oh wait, I think there is actually. And I might be going like way off tangent. I don't remember what the question was. Am I answering the question?
Close enough.
It was more entertaining.
Yeah, I think for me, the training ground was the kids, because when I would read to them, that was our big thing. We were very, very, it was very important to us every night up until probably they were like, I don't know, 10. I don't even remember the age, 10, 11, 12 maybe. Where we would read a book. And I would read the book and I'd read all the voices and do it just, you'd act it out there, and they loved it. And then timing is everything, right? So when I found ACX is when I started. I had finished my master's program back in February of 11. And about a year later, I decided I'm going to do this. And I tore up a closet and put foam in it and found a coach nearby. And doing the research, I came across ACX, and ACX had only been alive for about 6 months when I found it. So that was like the perfect time to get on board, because that's when there were a ton of great books on ACX back then. I mean, they had the whole stipend program. They would pay $100 if you got certain books. They pick authors who had certain sales numbers, and if you got their book, not only did you get $100 per finished hour on top of the royalties, which was great. And I got a bunch of those back then. But the timing was everything. So now the quality of books on ACX is, but back then it was much better. And it's just because so many people got into the game, because it's so easy. You just read books, you make money. And it's not that easy.
No.
Right? Neal knows it's not. The people think it is. Oh, it's so simple. You just know how to read books and make money. But if you want to be good, it takes a lot of time, to where you hope you can get to where, and I consider, A, B, C level. I think of myself as sort of C, maybe low B level. I'm not an A level narrator, I don't think, but I look up to people like, Bob Ray, Kevin Pierce, in that genre, Sebastian York in the romance side, people like him, Joe Arden, those are A level guys. Johnny Heller, obviously Scott Brick, Simon Vance, they're like A+ level.
Yeah.
So you look to get to that.
Gerard Reynolds and
you look to get to
R.C. Bray and
And Bob's a hell of a nice guy, and I met him a couple of years ago in Kansas, and he's a hell of a nice guy. But it's amazing, he's probably pulling in $400-$500 a finished hour for his books.
Wow.
That's R.C. Bray, you said?
But yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, because his books sell. I mean, he's
oh, absolutely. I've purchased books because he was the narrator. And Timothy Gerard Reynolds, the same thing. Matter of fact, I had a feeling that Neal could do an American version of Timothy Gerard Reynolds. That's why
stop it.
I got him going. That's why I got him going on Cataclysm. But, so
you're doing Cataclysm?
Yeah,
yes.
Good luck, Neal.
I'm about half. I'm getting there. I'm almost done.
This is 2025. Gonna be done. That's huge.
How many words is that book?
Oh my god.
240,000.
Oh my gosh,
it's like 20.
Yeah, it's 20 plus hours. It's 20 plus hours. That's
yeah. You're whistling. I'm the one who has to write the check.
This is the second I've done a book that long before, so I feel like
it's a long one. I think it was probably my longest 15 hours.
When you guys do now, in my opinion, the good ones don't try to mimic a woman's voice. Okay?
No.
You don't try to mimic a woman's voice. You more give it a feel or a texture.
Yeah.
How hard was that to learn how to do? Pretty hard.
Do it now. Do it now. Give us an example.
I don't know. For me, it was kind of natural, not so because you don't want to, you don't want to try the to sound like your wife or your girlfriend or something.
Right.
All right, that you gotta be very careful because if come here, he said, and I don't want to come here, she said. I mean, it's just a little bit, right? I mean, it's not a lot.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I never really. It's pretty much. I've always had the same way of doing it.
Mhm.
It wasn't really something I learned. I just kind of just naturally like, all right, I'm not gonna try to talk like a woman. Like, that would sound ridiculous. I don't know. Like, I'm just gonna naturally just soften my voice a little bit so you can kind of distinguish
And
like
you hear,
what's the male and what's female
Right.
because
right. You
Because
hear,
it does.
I don't want to sound ridiculous. Like,
when women do men, it's kind of funny, but they have to do it too in a lot of their books, especially
Yeah.
romances.
Oh,
They
yeah.
say, I said, come here, and so they're doing their best. But there's some different. But then you listen to some Kevin Pierce, prime example. He's amazing at doing it with very little. If you listen to his books, right?
Oh, I had him do
Right.
Wayward Son, as a matter of fact. Kevin Pierce did my Wayward Son book.
So he does everything royalty. I think the guy probably has his dashboard on ACX probably shows over 1 million books sold.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
you
him.
you did Jesse on the last book you did for me, and I thought you did a great job. In fact, a lot of the reviews say how much emotion and stuff they're giving you props on that, and I thought that was pretty good. I mean, you did a good job. The end, because the end's pretty dramatic with the two characters. I thought you did a good job. It gave me chills on that.
Cool.
So props to you. And you never do a female voice because I have I have 4 different accents in my books, 6 different accents.
Yes, but
Poor you, but you carry them off.
Yes, No, it's hard.
Go ahead. You're the guest. Go ahead.
Good, Andy.
Go ahead, Andrew. You were going to say something.
Do what now?
You were going to say something.
No, it's just say some books are harder than others, and I've been trying to, as I've gotten more experienced at it, just try to tone down. And I've come to also realize that you don't have to go crazy with them either, right? You don't have to have you can't be, as much as I love Bob Bray, I can't be him. You listen to him, he's a fucking amazing. He just, just the range of what he can do, and I would hope to get close to that, but I know I can't be that. So that's something I have to get in my head that, I'm not going to be him, but I can be as good as him. I mean, I've competed against him in awards, lost to him, but been nominated in the same categories. I don't know.
But no matter what, you got to be Andrew.
Yeah, I got to be
whatever last name you choose.
And I can't worry about people liking me or not liking me, because some people are going to love me, and some people are going to hate me.
Yeah.
Right. I got a book out now with the Tantor. It's like an autobiographical sort of nonfiction book, and they had a prior guy who read it, and then I'm doing the third book, and it's not a series. It's just his life. Some people like me, and some people freaking hate me. What happened to the other? This guy sucks. Yeah, not the same there. Excuse me. And I'm like, what can I do? I mean, as a narrator, Neal will tell you, he knows because you see his reviews, and I'm like, you have to go off that, right? If you let those reviews get under your skin, you're done.
Yeah.
No, you can't. I mean, they get to a certain point where they're so malicious that that they just don't like you.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't get into the book.
And that's fine.
And you're not going to be pleasing everyone.
No.
But back to the voice changing thing, just for a second, I wanted to make a point that you guys do women, men, children, girl children, boy children, even dogs and such, and you do it so subtly that I want you to know that I'm amazed by it and I'm impressed by it, and I think it's wonderful that you do it without mocking what you're trying to imitate or what you're trying to sound like. Kudos. Matter of fact, I would like to do a voice book myself. I just don't think I have the voice for it, or the patience, or the studio. And that's one thing that people don't realize. You have to have an area where you can do it without that is devoid of any other sound. Am I correct in that? I mean, you can't just make a recording in a room and then delete all the bad sound. You got to create a studio, correct?
Yeah. Something. Yeah, you better have something.
So it's
Yeah.
not just your time; it's also your money, your investment.
Oh yeah.
I guess the better equipment you have, the better. Like anything, the better it is, the better it turns out. Product turns out.
Sure. Yeah. For sure.
So
Like
it's a lot.
where I'm at now is not where I record books. This microphone is one I used to record books on. It's a very nice, expensive mic, but I got a different mic, and I love it. So this one sits here outside on the desk. This is a TLM 40. This is a $1,600 microphone. It just sits. It's a Neumann, and it just sits out there. But I record all my books on a MK on a 416 on an MK Sennheiser because I love that mic. I fell in love with that mic, and it works. It does the job, and it's just so clean and nice. And
Is it cheaper?
it was it was $900 on sale.
It's a lot cheaper than 1,600.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one, I thought about selling it, but it's too pretty to sell.
Yeah, mounted on your Jeep or something, you know.
Yeah.
No, Neal looks like he has a nice mic. Isn't that your mic there? That round thing?
Yeah. I got a Rode NT1A. You know, it's
Classic
pretty basic. Yeah.
But it's a classic.
Yeah.
Mic. A lot of people love that mic.
Yep.
Now, like I'm doing this Cataclysm book, and I'm going to be putting in, I've already put money into the cover. I'm already into it for a couple $1,000, and then I hire a voice actor, and I'm going to be into it for $4,000 or $4,200. By the time I'm done with it, it's going to be close to an $8,000 book. Okay, and these people think that I'm going to just sit back and collect royalties. They don't realize that I still have to market the book. And now you, with your business and the time you put in and the equipment you have to buy and the situation, I mean, I'm just trying to justify you guys earn your money in more ways than people will ever see. And I don't know where I was going with a question with that, but if it would have ever came to fruition, it would have been a really good question. I probably would have gotten
Must we spend
one of the greatest question askers ever. But anyways, so Alan, help me out here. Ask him a question.
Okay. You guys obviously read a lot for your production. Do you read in your downtime too? Is it just too overwhelming?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, between my kids and this, it's so hard. And I love reading too, but it's actually, honestly, I listen to audiobooks is what I end up doing because it's like at least I can listen to them while I'm like, changing a diaper or cleaning the dishes or driving my son to his Taekwondo class.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I mean, yeah, but even that, I don't really do much of that anymore. But unless like this book that I really want to read, but yeah, it's super hard for me to read.
I see Andrew having flashbacks when you're talking about driving your kid to Taekwondo. You guys are following a similar path.
Right.
That's something that I bring up in a lot of these shows is that the authors I meet and the people who are involved with us, providing services for us like you do. I don't want to call you guys subgroups, but that's basically what you are. I mean, you're providing us a service that we greatly need and at a quality that we greatly need. And it just I'm losing my point here, Alan.
Audible seems to be the future of entertainment as far as reading, because like you were saying, Neal, Andrew, you don't have time. I like me being writing. When I write, I haven't read in a long time, so I listen a lot to Audible. So I think there's a lot of people like that, commuting, just working, mowing their lawn, picking the weeds, whatever, and they throw Audible on, and I think it's just going to do nothing but expand. Do you guys feel that way?
Oh, dang. Yeah, you're right. No, I don't read anymore. I mean, I read articles, certainly, but books.
I do Audible. But my point is that in this writing industry and everybody involved, we usually tend to be very dedicated family men. Like I've been married for over 39 years, and Andrew is dedicated to his family, and Neal's dedicated to his family, and Alan's still madly in love with his wife, and all the guys in our group are you know,
Yeah.
married one, maybe 2 times, but mostly 1 time, and they're all dedicated. And it's just, I'm meeting all these people in this business, and we have similarities that I appreciate, and it makes me glad to be a part of this group, um, which we just kind of fell together, you know.
Mm.
Do you enjoy? Do you enjoy doing it? Voice acting? I mean, at first I'm sure you did, but do you still?
I love it. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like with writing, I'm continuously honing my skills. Is it the same for you guys?
Yeah. And again, like I said, I don't have time to read like for for pleasure, but every so often I'll come across a book that I'm doing for work, and I'm like, this is a damn good book, and I probably would have never even thought to
Right.
read it on my own.
Right. It's such, for me, it's really, I love it. It's really a passion. Like my job is, it is what it is. But it'll give me
Same here.
it'll give me a nice retirement in a couple of years. But I can't wait when I can do this full time. Because I love it. Even the romance, I would never read a romance
Yeah.
on my own, right? Ever. There's no way. It's just not my thing. But when I get in that booth, in that box, and I start getting into it, I'm just in a whole nother world. When I just love doing this. It really is something I truly love. Whether it's romance or sci-fi or mostly, mostly it's post-apocalyptic or romance. But then the nonfiction books I've done, again, best thing I ever did was join SAG-AFTRA because that opens up a lot of doors. So I've gotten so many more books that I never would have read, but stuff on like the stock market and how to beat the market. I had a book on that, and a couple of books. I did a book on a guy's memoir from when he was in Vietnam. Probably wouldn't have read it on my own time, and I was in the Marine Corps and I had served in my little war back in 1990. But Vietnam is Vietnam, and I probably wouldn't have read it, but it was a very good book. But again, it's just. Yeah, it's a passion. I love it. I wish I could stop. If I could retire today and do this full time. I think I could probably make what I'm making full time doing this if I had the time to do more. It's one of those those double-edged swords, right? I think I could make it, but my wife supports me, but she doesn't support me that much.
It's just that risk. Well, you're so close to getting.
Yeah, 32 months away from 25 years. So
Oh yeah, no.
So once I get to 25, I'll probably end up doing 36 more months in that deferred retirement program where you're retired, but your retirement check goes into a special fund, for 3 years and all that. But in that 3 years, anything could happen there. But I got to get to 25. So December of 24 is where that's going to happen.
Good.
So then I'll be done and I can do more here.
Good for that. Good for you. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think it would look like to be able to go full time? I mean, how much an hour? How many books a month? What do you think it would look like? Or how many hours reading a month? You know?
It's easier to say hours. I don't know. Everybody's different. I don't know, Neal. What do you think? I could probably do on a good day 3 hours a day. A good day.
3 finished hours?
Yeah, a good day. A really good day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably more in like the 1 to 2 rate. Actually, yeah, like a little over 1 for me because really I'm only in the booth like at night when my kids are asleep.
Yeah,
so
it's like you have young ones. So
yeah. I was like with the baby, especially like if I didn't have the baby, like if my kids are in school, boom, all right, I got like a whole few hours in the whole afternoon at work. But it's like
a long time. Get a long time to get on parole. Yeah, no, my daughter will be. They've been old enough for years, so it hasn't really been an issue. But they'll both be out of the house in 4 months again. They come and they go. But even now, I usually come home in the afternoon. I get home around 3:30 or so. I can get in the booth, maybe get 30 minutes done during a weekday. On a weekend, on a good weekend, I can knock out an hour and a half on a Saturday and a Sunday. If I had more time during the week and ate at the right time, because your stomach always does, you have to worry about that. I could probably do 2 to 3. I've done 4 hours or so once or twice, but that's rare. But I could see doing 3 if I did an hour and a half in the morning, had lunch, did some other stuff, and then hit it in the booth and had a good productive time frame where I didn't have it up too much. I could probably, hopefully eke out 3, but it'd be closer to 2.5, I think.
Do you guys ever have to get in the mood on a book? You know, like do you wear a costume, go in the booth sometimes just to get, wear a hat or a cod piece or something, to get you.
No.
No.
You're just into character. You just
Can't say
jump in.
that. Yep.
I would mark that down as officially a stupid question. But
Hey, no question's a stupid question, right?
That's just me. That's a lie. That is a lie. I have heard stupid questions before. I've even asked them before.
Yeah.
No, you guys. I think you guys have definitely justified what you earn an hour for a finished hour, because I'm thinking, Neal, it sounds to me like some hours, it'll take you 2-3 hours to get one finished hour, and other hours you can do it in the hour it takes to read it through, because you're building scenes just the same way the author is,
Right.
And I appreciate that. And, the fact that people think you're just reading a book, and I feel that you need to be just as creative as an author does in order to do this.
Just the prep that goes into, like, before you even like read a single line. I mean, you guys spend a lot of time like with the book and taking notes, and it's a lot. I mean, Cataclysm has been a big challenge. So many characters, and I'm like, who the hell is this now? Another one.
That's why I
another
sent you
race
the
in here
book.
I gotta figure out an accent for. Okay, here we go.
I sent you the book a year ahead of time, so you could be prepared to say yes or no.
Yeah, no, I'm having a blast. No, it's super fun. I mean, this is like I said, I love doing it. I mean, it's just it's a lot of fun.
He's already posted the first 15 chapters, or actually 21 chapters, and I listened to it, and I think I had one complaint, and that was that he was mispronouncing a name, and that was it. I mean, it's seamless. So, like I say, when you hire these guys to do your work, it's almost like you're done working on it, because you've got the cover done, you've got the manuscript written, you've got it edited. This is the finishing work. This is the trim on the window or the baseboard. This is the finishing work. This is the tile in your kitchen. This is what brings it to life, gives it a luster. And so if you're new and you're just starting out and you're afraid to pay that much, I'm telling you, don't skimp. Because if you piss them off, they're not going to do as good a job.
I'll tell you, skimping. I did a book for another studio, and I told them, you guys need to do an Audible of this book, because people listen to Audibles, and the head of it was like, okay, and he got an Audible narrator, and the book is set in Australia, so this Australian accents and American. There's only two this time, Andy. So the guy narrating it, that they got to narrate it, in fact, I threw your name in there, Andy, but he got his own, because I can see why now he got his own. Mm-hmm. And the guy, about 2 chapters in, dropped all the Australian accents and he sound like Andy Taylor, just the whole rest of the book. And it's just, if you listen to it on Audible, it pains me, because this is my written word and I have no control over that aspect of it. And it was just, to me, if people don't like it on Audible, I can see why. It's horrible.
I know, like Australian, I can do a couple, short bits, but I'm not going to commit to a character. It's an accent that you better be good at, or.
Right.
Russian, like Eastern European, they all sound fairly similar. You can get away with that. And general British is not so hard to do, but when Australian is just one of these accents, mate. If you lose it quick, and real Aussies can tell that you're not from there, and they know you suck. So I don't do it. Small bits I'll get away with, but there's no way.
But it just ruined the book. It just ruined it, and that's a lot of the complaints on that book. So it pays, like Joe was saying, it pays to get a good narrator, even if you gotta sell the kids,
Every
you need a good narrator.
every year the APA does a thing, and audiobooks keep growing. The APA, Audio Publishers Association, every year audiobooks keep growing because people don't. Again, it's the reading thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even if I didn't have this side gig, I don't. I read a book, and after a couple of chapters, I start to get sleepy.
Yeah.
Just, right, I just do. I mean, Neal has young kids. I'm just tired sometimes. But I've been in that booth reading books. I'm like, God damn, I better stop because I think I'm flying upstairs. Because I read standing when I do my books. But yeah, when I'm in the car going to work, or when Nate and I go on a long trip, up to Michigan in a couple of weeks, we have books. There's books he likes. He likes it.
Sure.
My wife likes them. He and my wife listened to a book, and she took him back to school a few weeks ago. So audiobooks grow because it just gives your mind something to listen to and enjoy. It's like TV of the mind, like a book is, but you listen.
Right.
Well, and the world's so busy right now, and we all got a lot of things to do. Having a headset on and listening to a book while you do it, that just blows having to sit down and read a book away.
Yeah.
Plus, if you get a voice actor who is an artist and cares about their work, it just makes for a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon while you're cutting down a tree or running a lawnmower or what have you. So
for me, it's the car thing more than anything.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not in the car long. 20 minutes in the morning, maybe 20 in the afternoon. My commute's short, but still. I get through it. It makes the books last long. My credits go farther.
Yeah. Now, are you in the city? Are you in a city or a suburb, Andrew, or are you out in the country?
I'm like when Neal's 20 miles north of the big city, right? So it gets pretty suburban out there. I'm 8 miles west of DC. So, but Fairfax is pretty urban, even though it's but it's not loud. I mean, I'm maybe as the bird flies, I'm only maybe a quarter mile from 395, the 495, the Beltway.
Oh, okay.
But it's not that bad. And I use a closet. We're going to get a reno done here in a couple of years, and then I've been given permission to get a Studio Bricks booth. But that's fine. Man, I've managed for a decade in this closet, and I use the software I use. I can clean up shit pretty good. With the Isotope, I use an Isotope RX Advanced. I have the 7. I got the 9 upgrade, but I like the 7. I use the 9. It didn't sound as good. The 7 makes it nice, but it can clean up a lot of crap. So the booth is pretty good as it is, though, because a lot of the publishing houses that I work with now, they just want punch and roll audio, but they don't want it messed with. So it has to still be with the right sound levels and all that stuff. So.
You line that with foam or something?
Yeah, RLX foam I got years ago.
Yeah.
And it's in a good spot. I'm in a low. The problem is can be you have to watch it when they're home, and they're home enough that when they walk around at certain points or in certain ways, or they flush the toilet or take a shower, the furnace has to be off. They can't have laundry going, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like a real booth would avoid those issues for the most part.
Yeah, I bet. I don't know if we lost Neal or if he's still there, right?
Yeah, it looks like we lost him off. Oh, here he comes.
Here he comes.
He's coming back.
Yeah, he's with a newborn. He's probably working like a dog to get my book done. 22-hour books. Those are average for you, Andrew, is about 8 or 9, isn't it?
8 to 12.
8 to 12.
In that zone. A lot of them, the wonderful thing about romances is that oftentimes you're doing just the man, so you're only doing 3 to 4 hours, and getting paid good to do that. So you could churn those out all day long, all month long, and some are not. Some are longer. So,
did you hear that, Alan? Romance books, when you take the male perspective, are very short.
Yeah,
quick, in other words.
Very quick. Yeah, I guess that's goes around. I don't know. I don't have that problem.
Neal, tell me about your studio. Are you working out of the closet too, or?
I was, and then I had to move because we did some reconfiguring on whose bedroom was where. So I actually moved mine to the basement.
You got kicked
and
out of
I'm
the
in like
closet?
a, you know,
How
kind of a little
bleak is that?
DIY setup with some PVC,
Cool.
and I surrounded it with blankets, sound dampening blankets. I got kicked.
Yeah.
I got
Got
kicked
kicked
out
out
of
of the closet. That's sad, dude.
the
That's
closet.
so sad.
So yeah, this
Well,
worked out pretty good for me.
welcome
And,
to being an adult, I
I've
guess.
gotten feedback that this is better than the closets.
That's good. The closet
Yeah.
tapes.
The closet tapes, yeah. No, I
Hey.
just
My dream is, but
your dream is to what?
Oh, he's
Froze up.
he froze up.
It's 20 miles north of New York. I guess this is pretty bad.
You guys going through some weather right now or no?
I'm not. No, but I mean, it all depends. All depends.
There we go.
there it is.
There we go.
You can tell by the
Uh,
picture when it's good when it's not.
Yeah.
So if he's 20 miles north of New York, you guys are only about 40 miles away from each other.
God, no,
No?
like 350, I think.
Oh, 350.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
In New York, let me see here. New York's not that far away, but it's still far enough away. Let's see, let's do
Oh, okay.
New York City.
See, I'm a flyover state. I have no concept of the East Coast. I went down it once in a Greyhound, and I was like, this is just bizarre.
For me, New York is 242 miles. So it's a 3 hour
Oh.
50
Oh, wow.
trip right now
Oh, okay.
with tolls.
With
With
tolls.
toll.
Yeah.
Well,
We
I'm
don't,
glad
we
we
don't
don't
have
have
those
tolls
here.
around here yet.
no, we don't
The
have
Bay
those.
Area was big for tolls, but
Yeah, we got tolls here. We're not tolls. We have fast lanes. It's pretty fast.
I went last year. I tried to go to a city lake with my boat to do some fishing at a city lake, and they told me that I had to pay $20 to put my boat in the water, and that I couldn't go above trolling speed because there was too much rain and it would wash out the shoreline. And I have to admit, I turned around and left. I was offended.
I'm offended. Hey, what sells? How many hour? I guess what length of book Audible are the best sellers? Is it? Do you find?
That's a hard question. I don't know.
You think it's
Yeah.
more along the
Yeah, I don't
lines
know.
of the author?
Yeah, I mean, there are certain genres, of course, that sell well. Lengthwise, and there's a sweet spot, I guess. I'm not sure people like me like to get a lot for your credit, but
Right.
I don't think anything more than 12 or 13 hours. I can't say. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm totally guessing. I have no idea. I can tell you what genre probably some, but I couldn't tell you the lengths.
Yeah. What
What
genre?
Yes.
Romance.
My mom told me
The
when I
one
was
subject I know nothing about.
It kills. I mean, it's
Wow.
just amazing.
my mom told me when I was a teenager when I was writing. She said you should write Harlequins because she had a big box full. And I looked at her and I was like, no.
Yeah. But you have
Wow.
to film. You have to go film, and they sell them. And it's just almost all the money I made with romance.
Crazy.
I'm looking at my board now. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books on the board, and I think only 3 aren't romances.
Jeez. Do you
That's
do
crazy.
romance, Neal? Have you done romance books?
Yeah, I do. I get also. I'd say like 80% of my work in the past year has been romance.
Wow.
It's just
Joe
yeah,
buys a lot of
Crazy.
audibles.
it's been.
They sell well, and you're more than likely to get one of the more actually finished hour money. I feel like, I don't know. This has been my experience. That's where I've really raked it in terms of the per finished hour. Tantor has been a very good client or benefactor, however you want to put it. You know, I got one with Macmillan coming out, but I haven't. It's not coming out till June. It's just a couple hours, and I've done a few with Blue Nose Audio, which is Joe Arden's company. I haven't done any lately. I wonder what happened. I did a bunch, and then it stopped. It's weird how that comes. It ebbs and flows, right? But Tantor's been a very regular and great. I mean, I love them. They're easy to work with, and Sarah Puckett and Pink Flamingo Productions. She's great. Her company has bought Fireside Audio, I think. Fireside Audio, it's horror. It's a horror publisher. They took that, and they took Northern Lakes Audio too. She's growing that thing. She's becoming an empress of that kind of stuff out in the Midwest. She's out of Illinois, but it's growing. So that's Pink Flamingo does romance, but now they're part of the horror with the Fireside, and then I think Northern Lakes just does all kind of stuff. So there's another avenue there.
I've worked.
Yeah, I've got 3 books with her.
Pink
So it's busy.
Flamingo, yeah.
Yeah, but it's romance really does sell. I love the other stuff. I see Lundy tonight has his Redemption, the soldier books. I know that's coming.
This horror thriller.
It's a great series. I love that series.
Yeah. Well, and you just did my book in 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah, it was when they're 4 or 5 hours. That was under 5. That was right at 5 almost.
Yeah.
And thanks to spring break, I was able to, if you look at I think an hour and a half a day over 4 days.
Yeah.
There you go.
Characters, storyline,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, if I ever finish Operation Zulu, I'm going to hit you up, Andy, again, because you're the voice of that. You've done the 2 books in that, and I'm going to end the series on the next book if I ever get it done. Finish it.
Whenever. There's no rush. Whenever you're ready, right?
I had a guy was going to do Dose, right, and he had it for a year, and he kept giving me excuses, and my dad at that time was dying from lymphoma. And he couldn't see. He was losing his vision, and he wanted to read it, and so it just I pulled it from the guy. You took it, you turned it around really quick, which I appreciate, and he got to listen to it before he died, so he got to hear your voice.
That's cool.
And my words.
Something cool about that. Neal probably agree with you. We'll be long gone. Our kids will still be here, and our grandkids will still be around. They'll be going, Grandpa.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the things that really got me into ever since I was a kid and I wanted to be an actor. I was like, I want to do something that people are going to get to watch. Like people are going to be able to see me anytime or listen to me even after I'm dead. I'm going to be forever.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And I'm not a camera guy. I'm not a front of the camera guy. So for me or anything like that. So this is perfect for me. So in 150 years from now, if there's still a world, then these books will be out there. These digital archive will exist, and the things that you wrote and the words that we speak and act out will always be there. So our kids can hear us, our grandkids and our great grandkids, and then they could say, "That's your great granddad. He died back. He died 50 years ago, but there he is, reading this book."
That's really awesome. Cool. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
And I can see that. I have no children, but I'm also inspired by that of leaving some type of legacy. Maybe only one person will read it after I die, if even, but it's there nonetheless. And, it's like making your mark, I have some books out there that I know nobody else but me could have written, so that means something. Well, I want to thank you 2 gentlemen for coming on the show tonight.
Yes.
It was really great. I knew it was going to be a great show, an informative show, and I'll probably have you on again sometime in the future, because I think you're in an industry that is underexplored, especially by authors that want to get their work out there. Yeah. They're afraid, and I just want them to know. And I mean,
anytime.
Spend the money, get quality. Don't audition more than 5 or 10 people. Having 30 auditions is bullshit. You should get 5-10 people to audition your book through Audible, and spend the money. It's worth it. You guys are worth it. I appreciate both of you.
I appreciate it.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, Alan's right. You get, and Neal would agree. It's a lot of work. not easy, but most of us who do this and do it well enjoy it. We do it for a reason. The money's nice, of course, but there might be easier ways. I don't know, but I enjoy it. But the point is, if you want quality, you do have to pay for it. And the other thing is, like you said, once you find a narrator to do your book and you give that manuscript to that narrator, authors have to get in their head that it doesn't matter what you thought when you wrote the book. You throw that shit out the window. It's now the narrator's book to interpret for you. And I won't work with somebody if an author gives me their book, it's mine. If you like it, tell me that in the get-go, right? In the beginning, if I send you a sample or something. But if you don't like it, then tell me right off the bat, we'll end it. Because I don't have time to play games and figure out what you're thinking. I'll never know what's in your head. Neal will never know what's in your head, right? So what's in his head is in his, what's in mine is in mine, what you wrote is one thing. But that's what a lot of authors get in a trick bag with people. And they get a bad rep in terms of being difficult to work with because they think that they can micromanage the project, and that's not how it works.
Do you agree with that, Neal?
No, we lost him.
We lost him. Anyways, it was a great show. I appreciate you. It was really good. Don't you think, Alan?
Yeah, definitely. Let me see. I think I got Neal here again.
Hopefully.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that way we can. But yeah, no, it's always good talking to Andy. I think we've done another show before.
Yeah.
We lost Neal. But it's always good to know that. And I do appreciate you and Andy.
I respect what you do. I mean, it's not. I've written a couple of shitty books, and I narrate them too. And they're fun little books, but they're not literature, and they're never going to be big sellers, right? But I understand when you write a book, it's you put so much effort into what you do, and it's hard to let go. But you have to let the narrator do what the narrator knows how to do.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've always been good at that.
You guys have been fine. No, I've been very, knock on wood, very lucky with all the authors and companies I've worked with to not. I've only had one author who was a little bit of snickety, but not too bad. But I've heard stories, and I'm sure Neal has too, the horror stories of some of these authors who are just terrible people.
What do you think about that, Neal? People trying to micromanage you when you're doing a project.
I've heard those stories as well, and I've also been fortunate enough to never be in a situation like that. Good. But I know I can imagine how and I'm pretty easygoing too as a narrator. I've always kind of thought that it is kind of a collaborative process, and I'll take whatever feedback the author wants to give me as far as how he wants it to sound, and I try to integrate it as much as I can. But yeah,
I try
once
to
I get it in my hands, the finished product is the finished product, and
I try to put it up front what I'm looking for. I'll put it up front what I'm looking for, and then I pretty much stand back and watch, and I haven't been disappointed doing that. So, but I think our time is up. I say, thanks, guys. I really appreciate
thank you.
it. And I enjoy working with both of you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
We'll see you again.
Take care.
Right.
And
can't wait.
Have a good weekend.